Yeah, well, I think if you study Shotokan Karate, you have to consider the spirit and character of the founder. You know, that although the training methodology and science may evolve, the thing that should remain unchanged is the vision of Funakashi sensei. And I think that is the unique offering of Shotokan Karate. And I think if you read his writing, whether his books or his poetry, it's apparent that he did not see karate simply as a fighting science, that there was more to be learned there, that it was in fact a vehicle to encounter the way, and that it should be available to anyone. So it was sort of non-prejudicial education system that anyone could engage in and expand their humanity, and do that for the duration of a lifetime. I think this is the beauty of his message. I think that plays out in some of the policies that he had. For example, he was a fifth dan, and he felt fifth dan was the last rank. That is why, for example, I will never accept a rank beyond fifth dan. And let's assume fifth dan is 40-ish years of training. That at that point, your karate is a manifestation of your own authentic inquiry. It really has no relevance to someone else's karate. It is uniquely your karate at that point. And I think all you can do is sort of step into that, embrace that, and then acknowledge that and respect that in others. So I think there's a beauty in that approach. I think also maybe the fifth dan being the last rank also is sort of an implied humility that that you never arrive, that you're never the master. That in fact you're just you're not a noun, you're a verb engaging a process. And I think there's a beauty in that understanding as well. So when I bow, for example, at the beginning or end of class to the shoman in the image of Funakashi sensei, I try to attune to those ideas, and through my practice, keep his spirit alive. You know, oftentimes we think so much about making this perfect technique that we don't think about sort of the operating platform beneath that. Like, what is our psychological state, or our ability to actually do the right thing at the right time, to kind of be in that zone. And I think that's something that you have to habituate to. You have to cultivate that quality as well. To me, this is almost at the essence of your karate. I think our intellectual mind can often get in the way of that. I think that just the accumulation of tension and the angst of our day can affect that. That's why the meditation at the beginning and end of class, I think, are critical. So these are components that people kind of disregard, but to sort of leave the day behind so you can kind of create that very clean, unadulterated connection to the moment, I think that's very important. And then there's these, you know, these ideas of like mizu no kokoro and tsuki no kokoro, like a mind like water and a mind like the moon, and those, or sort of analogy would be like if you looked at a really calm surface, your perception, the reflection back, your perception of reality was going to be clear and unadulterated. It's going to be as accurate as possible. Whereas if you have any sort of fear, trepidation, concern, anxiety, it's disrupting that image, and so your perception is going to be slightly skewed. Tsuki no kokoro, mind like the moon, the idea is that on a moonlit night, the illumination of the moon falls evenly on everything. It's not brighter on one thing or the next. And so perceptually what you want to take in is the totality of your environment, and not be drawn in by the concern of the guy's kick or this or that, but sort of see in a global sense. And all these things then allow your technique to emanate from that psychological state. I would say relaxation is a huge component of that. I think we sometimes don't give that word enough thought. It's not just simply devoid of tension. It's almost as if it's the optimum way of connecting to the moment, because it's the most spontaneous and free way of feeling that connection. So people often start that way. They'll start a technique with a sense of relaxation, but they'll then kind of harbor that tension, and it takes a bit for them to kind of get back into that state. So moderating that, being able to hit an inflection point and then immediately relax, is the ability to then congruently move on to the next moment, perceptually and technically. So creating a sense of relaxation, I think, is huge in karate. I oftentimes will practice with various weapons because I think sometimes they illustrate that point. For example, if you practice with a nunchaku, you can feel this very free and relaxed whip in the motion, and you're not necessarily practicing the nunchaku to become skillful at the nunchaku, but you're practicing with the nunchaku to illustrate a quality that you'd like to bring back into your karate. So you can start by just creating a very relaxed strike, just a very relaxed whipping motion like so. And then nunchaku will tell you right away whether you have that or not. Like, as soon as your body gets tight, the grace of the motion will be diminished. So you want to feel that very relaxed feeling delivery. And just like your karate with the inflection point. And then as you start to get used to that, then just slowly dial up the speed of the motion, but all the while never really changing that quality of relaxation and movement, always having that same sense of just letting the technique happen as opposed to generating this tension that accumulates. So I think the weapon is oftentimes a very good tool just to kind of feel that, how that all occurs in a very relaxed, natural sense. And once you do that, I think you're going to have greater freedom of movement, greater spontaneity, and ultimately a more accurate connection to the moment.